living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.
Evening, folks. It's Monday, and that means it's Let's Talk F1. And we're back. How are you doing, Matty?
I'm good, mate. I am good. We've had some car launches. We've had some proper pre-season hype now. I think when we kind of did the show last week, I think it was very like the off-season's gone quickly, but like whatever. Whereas now it's like, oh god, we're actually seeing this generation of cars. I'm starting to get excited, mate. How are you?
Yeah, exactly the same. I think you were right. Last week it was a bit like, the off season. It's like, Formula One, and then suddenly you start to see pictures, start to see cars, start to see things, and suddenly it's like,
it's
actually,
real. It's happening. Oh my god!
At the end of this month, guess what? There's already going to be pre-season testing. It's like it's that quick, it's that soon. It really does amazingly kick in, doesn't it? It's like so soon. So let's have a quick recap of what the pretty cars we've seen and maybe not so pretty cars that we may have seen. Let's have a run through. So first out of the blocks was the Haas car. Now, I liked it. I thought it's a definite improvement on their red, white, and blue Russian flag plain look that they had the previous year. So, I quite like the black. I quite like the fact that it's gone, a bit angry, but it did come with, to be honest, I did have some feelings that it was a bit similar to, this. This is what it reminded me of.
Yeah, that's
understandable. I think it has got the Blackjack Haas. I think it may well be the nickname of it from UK people. I'm not sure whether or not Blackjacks.
I think that should...
Blackjacks as a suite. We're very international, but it's Haas, right? They should really embrace their sort of licorice oddity, I suppose.
I like it. I think Blackjack should be the title sponsor of the team. I know that's not really how it works, but I really like it. I think I like the kind of going for the like black look. Like, I know obviously it wasn't a very popular livery for kind of many reasons, but the Rich Energy Haas livery, I always thought that was a mean looking car, like on a black and gold. And obviously, again, sponsorship issues aside, that was such a good looking car, and I always really liked the Renault from a couple of years ago. That black and yellow.
I think there's something. I think from our generation, it's like the black's JPS. There's something still in our minds that black cars just look cool, and the black and gold from the JPS Lotus time and all that sort of stuff. So I think you're right. Anytime a car comes out that's got a majority or big bold black sort of lines, just looks nice. It looks good. I mean, from a Haas, from a as you say, commercial perspective, I guess they've got a little bit more red with the MoneyGram. Doesn't seem to be loaded with sponsors, so there's still some space for Haas to find a few more names to squeeze on there, because there does seem to be quite a lot of canvas there to throw some bright lines on there, sort of. So hopefully for Haas, but it's a definite improvement from their previous one. So I liked it as a starting point. Then we fired up the RB19. Spot the difference here, folks, because let's be honest, we weren't massively surprised that it wasn't a huge diversion from the standard RBR sort of. I cannot
believe I got hooked into it again when they started releasing the merch that was like grey, and it was like
silvery grey. It was like,
oh my god, maybe. Are they gonna pull something out here? Because it's not as if, right, the Red Bull team cannot design a livery. Like some of the one-off liveries that they have come out with, whether it be like that, like I always remember that Japanese tribute livery for Honda when we were in Turkey or something. Oh my god.
Was it Turkey or Suzuka?
Because I think it was supposed to be Suzuka, but I think it was still during
bounced
COVID,
and COVID, and they couldn't go, so they had to run it somewhere. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. That was a gorgeous.
It's not
livery.
like they can't design a livery, and I got full on carried away. I got sucked into it.
I did too.
they're going.
I mean, I think I pinged you a message, didn't I, saying, look at this, the merchandise. There's going to be silver. There's going to be great.
No, not. I was like, I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not going to fall for it. I was like, Gary's falling for it. Maybe I'll fall for it. But no, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. It's Red Bull. Look, the difference is a yellow oval versus and a Castor versus Puma, I think, is about the only difference.
I guess the argument I would make is because as much as I may not necessarily like the team and a lot of things, but I know we discussed this last episode that they're blockbuster. You kind of need a team like them in the sport. Mm-hmm. However, one thing is their cars always look saucy, and I love the matte coloring. I think it looks phenomenal. Like, it kind of makes them stand out in a not like dull. Like, I hate the words used, but obviously without it being shiny, it's very it's like striking.
It's distinctive. It's very distinctive, and interestingly, you know, some cars, when you see them under the Singapore lights or the lights in Miami and stuff, they look amazing, but they don't look maybe quite as good on daylight and stuff. Whereas you say the Red Bulls, it doesn't matter if it's under the lights, they look good. If they look on a sunny day, they look that matte sort of striking quality. So totally get that. I suppose the big news out of the Red Bull launch was the return of Ford to a partnership in Formula One, which has been like, I didn't see it coming at all, didn't he? You know, it was like, Red Bull are launching their livery. Oh, by the way, there might be another announcement about a new engine supplier. And I thought, surely not, because I thought Red Bull, you know, Honda, Red Bull were off building their own powertrains and everything else. And I was like, why do they need Ford? I thought they were building their own, but I'm guessing, I think Ford are coming in as the power unit supplier,
right?
Which is slightly different from the Red Bull, who are building their own power trains.
Right, yeah, because I guess the actual,
I guess it's different
the actual
components.
combustion unit itself, I guess, isn't the whole thing? Question mark.
Question mark. For anybody else out there who might know, please.
Anyone in the chat that's more intelligent than us, please let us know.
Please let us know, because
I was confused about that as well, because I know obviously they had their big kind of partnership with Honda, and that was a very big thing. Then obviously Honda wanted to pull out, so Red Bull kind of bought it, and then it became like Red Bull powertrains. But they obviously kept a couple of the high up people from Honda to work with Red Bull on it now. So when I saw that someone else was coming in, I thought, like, that's interesting. Like, what happens to the people that are already there? I mean, like, obviously it's going to work. I guess it's, you know, more than just a commercial deal, but no, that's a big deal for Red Bull. I think that's gonna bring in some good moolah.
I mean, let's be honest, and I've, you know, reading about the Red Bull stuff, and they launched it in New York. Apparently, they're doing 3 special liveries this year as well. So those special ones, but there are going to be for the Miami, the US Circuit of Americas, and the Vegas one. So
they're just going
with the Ford tie-in, with the US tie, they're obviously going, this is a new market. We're just going to hammer it. Let's go big for Ford. Let's go big for the US market. And maybe they've got in ahead of the curve, because I know, you know, there's talk about Andretti trying to push in for 2026 and other engine suppliers, but, you know, maybe Red Bull have jumped the gun and jumped onto the, you know, one of the biggest car names in the US.
I mean, it seems like that's kind of the way that F1 is kind of going, period. Like, obviously it's owned by Liberty Media, which is like an American company, I think, right? I believe.
The majority stakeholders are definitely US.
Yeah. And like, I know obviously like COTA has been on the calendar for a while and has always been a big deal, but F1 in America has never kind of fully taken off. Like, I know they're very into like different types of racing, like IndyCar and stuff. And obviously NASCAR as well. Obviously that's massive. But I know obviously at the moment it kind of seems to have had this like boom in America due to stuff like Drive to Survive, which I'm not slating at all. Like, that's kind of how I got into it, to be fair. But yeah, it seems to be really popular at the moment. So I guess getting in there with an American brand whilst it's on the up, it seems like a pretty smart business move, to be fair.
From a business decision, it's well played to the team at Milton Keynes. They've obviously jumped the gun, you know, and you know, yes, they haven't quite got an American driver in their car as of yet, but who knows? Keep your eyes peeled. I'm sure they'll be scouring the market for those. I think from the Formula One in America perspective, they are still trying to get over the hideous horribleness from that Indianapolis last race when they were there. I think it still sticks in the craw of a lot of US sports fans, because it was such a debacle. But I think, right, you know, Circuit of Americas, that's purpose built for it. It's so far so good. You know, every time it's gone there, it's been great racing.
It's a wicked track.
It's a great track. I think what they did at Cota was brilliant, where they just went, we like this corner, we like these buttons, we like this one, we'll just copy all these and put them all together in one big circuit.
And hey, what do you know? It makes a wicked racetrack, yeah.
Oddly enough, it really works, and it makes a great racetrack. And then the last car that's shown up so far today, a very pretty looking Williams.
I like it. Very, very similar to last year. But to be fair, I think their last year livery, I think when they first announced it, I thought it was kind of a bit like uninspiring. Like me and my brother did the whole weekend at Silverstone last year, and I think there are a couple of cars, seeing them in real life, that I was quite disappointed in. Like, I loved all the photos of the Aston Martin. I love that, like, racing green, all that.
Beautiful
all that
looked
stuff.
in photos.
But actually seeing it on track was like, yeah, that was like underwhelming. And I think I kind of thought this Williams car would just kind of blend into the background. But actually seeing it in the flesh, it's really like, it's a livery I've kind of
It's
grown
something
to
about the blue,
appreciate.
isn't it? It's something about the blue. It just kind of, I don't know what blue they use, but it's kind of like, it's got an iridescence to it that doesn't quite show up on pictures. But when you see it in the flesh, it's like, oh.
I also really like that, like, obviously the Duracell deal, like that's.
I think that's a beautiful touch. I think that's a beautiful touch that on the air vent at the top. That's
how they've designed that into the car. That is gorgeous. That's very nicely done.
Yeah, and also I love it. Loving to see the return of Golf as a main sponsor. I mean, I know they had a tie-in with McLaren last year at Monaco and whatever else, but I think Golf Oil being
car.
back.
Oh my god,
that's McLaren should just run that livery forever. But obviously they can't now. Maybe Williams should look at that coming forward. But yeah,
I think that would be naughty if they pulled that.
Wouldn't it just? I mean, it's Golf colours though, right? So they could do it.
That is true.
But I don't know. And there might be some sort of trademark there. So I'm not suggesting that anybody goes out and does that. But we all love that livery on that McLaren.
Oh my god!
So if we could get something like that as special livery this year, I think the merchandising sales alone were probably enough. He says, sitting there with his Golf McLaren jacket on the back of his chair.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know many people that didn't own a bit of Golf McLaren merch. To be fair, like,
that was gorgeous, wasn't it? Yeah.
That popped off. So I mean, liveries that have come out so far. Who's your favourite so far? What are you feeling?
I'm liking the Williams. I like the different. I do like the way that Haas have gone bolder. So that obviously, but I mean, I don't think they could have got any less from previous.
No, they've had a boring couple of years, haven't they? Let's be honest.
It's quite nice that they've got with a bit of character. As you say, I think I love the little Duracell built-in aspect of the Williams. I think it's a little neat little touch that just kind of you miss it initially, and then you go, "Why is that? Oh, that's quite clever." Yeah. I think I just like it. I mean, the Red Bull is the Red Bull. It's that. It's the Red Bull colours. There's not much to scream and shout about. It's always going to be at the front. It's going to got plenty of advertising space because it's always going to be on screen. So far, I say the Williams is the nicest looking. Maybe it's just my feeling that blue is a nice colour. So these are the dates that we've still got to look forward to. Tomorrow, Alpha's new arrival. That's going to be interesting.
It may. If that looks anywhere near as good as their car last year, I'll be a happy boy. That Alfa Romeo was, oh my God.
Something about the red, wasn't it? I mean, it was quite. I mean, it was just white and red. It was quite simple, but it was something about the red, the rich red they used, and it just was a nice.
So good. It just seemed like classy. Like the way that Alfa Romeo was written on it was almost like handwritten, and it just. I think
just like that Italian flair, didn't it?
Yeah, and I think it just shows that you don't need to overcomplicate a livery. Like, you know, it's like looking forward to Ferrari. It's probably going to be red, right? But
predominantly I expect a lot of red with a little bit of black and yellow.
Yeah, but my God, it'll look like a good car. Like you don't need to overcomplicate these things sometimes. I think sometimes, you know, we kind of want these really big, like complex things. But yeah, if the Alpha looks anything like last year's, I'll be a very happy boy.
And then when we got a bit of a break, and we got the AlphaTauri at the weekend, which who knows where they're going to go? Are they going to follow their sister Red Bull? Are they completely separate now with the white and blue? Will they go down their own road? Will they start to look towards the future with the... Is it AlphaTauri who are going to end up being Sauber, who are going to end up being Sauber Audi, or is Sauber coming back in with Alfa? No, it's Alfa Romeo, isn't it?
Yeah, Alfa Romeo is Sauber right now, but Alfa Romeo are pulling out. I think that's eventually going to be Audi Sauber, isn't it? But I don't know if there's going to be like a gap. I don't know if there's going to be like a...
Like 2025 it'll be Alfa Romeo Sauber, and then 2026 it'll be Sauber Audi or something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know like the the exacts of it. But no, that'll be interesting to look forward to. Yeah, I think the AlphaTauri is always, again, that's a good looking car. It feels distinctive, like it kind of for the same reasons as the Alfa Romeo. It's nice and simple.
Yeah.
It's just like that white and like really dark navy. And I think there's something kind of about dark colors on a car. Like I think that's why I really like the Haas this year, is because I know it was a bit boring when they kind of dominated everything, but that black Mercedes, just because everything around it was so kind of bright and colorful,
vibrant, and over the
that black Mercedes, like that just looks like the kind of machine that means business. That's why I kind of like the fact that Haas have got, again, it's quite basic, but it's a mean looking car. Like that car like means business. I feel like if you go with something like a white or just like another blue car, it can very easily like blend into that background of kind of all of the blue cars. Yeah. So no, I'm excited. I have high hopes for the Aston Martin car, but I feel like ever since they've become Aston Martin, I've had quite high hopes. And it's, again, it looks lovely in photos, but just doesn't stand out. Like it kind of goes with the dark color theme, but just does it bad.
Doesn't whatever paint they use or something, it's like it doesn't pop in the
great
same
color in
say.
theory. It just doesn't. It doesn't do it for me. It really doesn't.
Maybe they'll get a different paint supplier or something in this year that gives it a bit more, either the Red Bull matte green or the shiny Alpine, somewhere in the middle. They've got to find their middle ground and make that green really stand out. But I think, as you say, in pictures and everything else, it looks great. But when you actually see it with your own eyes, it's a little.
It really just blends into the background big time.
Yeah, especially at Silverstone. I mean, if you said at Silverstone, when it was, if you looked at the wrong angle when you look across the track onto the green behind you, it's like there was a car there. Was there a car there? I'm not really sure. Oh, it was the Aston. So that's next Monday, the 13th. The preamble to the Valentine's Day Ferrari loving that will eventually take over.
Yeah, McLaren's on the same day as well.
It's an interesting one. Aston at Silverstone, McLaren at Woking. Let's call it. It's going to be interesting who gets more coverage and what they've timed it as. I mean, I can't imagine there's going to be a 2:00 launch for Aston and a 3:00 launch for McLaren. They're going to have some sort of agreement in place. I don't know what the timings are, but it will be interesting to see who gets the more of the headlines, I suppose. You'd expect.
This
McLaren,
is, I guess, my thinking.
bigger.
Yeah, is like I feel like McLaren are going to get conventional coverage, but like having them on exactly the same day, this could really be an opportunity for Aston Martin to proper, throw cat amongst the pigeons here. Like this could be a
viral launch, sort of.
Exactly. Like if they get it in just before the McLaren launch and do something outrageous when they're launching their car or something, like this could be a big branding moment for
this
for
could
Aston
be.
Martin.
I mean, they could. Here's a thought, Aston Martin. If you happen to get out there watching, why don't you do it live on Twitch as somebody's driving an F1 2023 Codemasters game in your new livery and launch it that way? Just something different, Just
I like it.
Why not? Right? It's out there. I'm sure you could talk with the team at Codemasters and use that because. A lot of the shots
they would oblige.
A lot of the shots are taken from those games.
Yeah. Because that'd be like kind of equally as big a thing for the game as well. That would show them off. That would be like, that seems like it would benefit all parties.
Why not? It's a win-win. If only we knew somebody who did Twitch. Right, Matty.
Who could that be? Yeah. Aston Martin, hit me up. I'm your guy.
Hit me up. Check
Ferrari,
his on there.
On
Ferrari,
Valentine's
red.
Day. What a move.
I mean, could they? I mean, it's quite interesting that nobody else went for it, or was it kind of basically? And as we mentioned last week, the power that Ferrari have in F1, have they come out and just gone? We're doing it on Valentine's Day.
We're doing Valentine's Day.
It's a red day. It's a red car. It's our day, and everyone went. Okay, we'll fit around you then. Yeah. And
that's what I kind of love about that. I love the. Like I guess it's on Valentine's Day. Ferrari and F1 is just like a big romance anyway. The car's red. I mean, come on. It's perfect.
It couldn't be any other day, could it really? If it's a date in February that you're going to launch your car and your car is predominantly red and you have a love affair and everyone's passionate about your kid, it's like, well,
no brainer. Absolutely no brainer.
Hopefully they don't mess it up. Hopefully they don't come out and put way too much black on it because they have done that in the past where it's been red and it's been almost black and red and it doesn't look as right. Hopefully
I think you need to keep that
mixture.
You need to keep that like iconic red. I think definitely because again, I know we're talking about like subtle details and stuff, but I remember a couple of years ago, I can't remember the exact year. It's going to annoy me, but I know Ferrari had. I remember it was one of the years their car was not fantastic, but one of my favorite things was right at the back of the car. It kind of transitioned from that dark red and kind of faded into that light red, like right at the back, and it was such a tiny
when they had
detail.
that shark fin or something, wasn't it? Was it
Yeah,
the shark fin? Yeah.
It was such a tiny detail because it was like, the red has got kind of darker over the years, and they're kind of showing the like, okay, well, this is where I've come from and this is where we are now. And oh God, any tiny things like that, I'm all over.
Nods,
So
the nods that they put to the historic ones, and I suppose that's what you say about the McLaren livery when they pulled that Golf one out. There's something when they hark back to the original liveries, or they give little nods to it and things like that. It's such a nice little touch, and teams like Ferrari can do that. And it looks like did you see the little teaser from the Mercedes group, the AMG? Yeah. On Twitter, the little badge that they seem to be sticking on to what looked like a lot of carbony black. It was quite and it almost had that sort of, is that an engine cover curve? It was a very, very clever teaser. If you haven't seen it, go check out Twitter. Check it out on Twitter, the Mercedes AMG F1 team. It's quite a long Twitter handle, but you'll find it. It's a very nice little teaser. It does look like it's a lot more black. They may have going back towards the black rather than silver.
What do you think? Do you want them to stick with the silver, or do you think go back to the black? Because I'm kind of very in two minds about this, because I think
they are the silver arrows, right? So
yeah, I think when they announced last season they were going back to the silver, because I guess I've kind of predominantly been a fan whilst the car has been black, and I think I'd kind of got used to that. And I thought, oh no, silver car, that's going to look like, no, don't take away my black car. But I think I was one of the few people, because I know it was a car that kind of split opinion. I loved that Mercedes last year. That silver Mercedes looked beautiful. So now I'm like, now I'm even more torn. Like, I'll be happy if it's silver or black.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like it. It's the silver arrow, so it has to have some silver. But I think I've seen, I think they did it before where they had the black that kind of blended out into silver.
Yeah.
And I think if they do something like that, then that might work, in terms of, the majority black. And then where they have those stars, I think they can drift that up into silver. I know their plan is to still continue with the one red star, obviously, from Nicky. So that's a nice little touch as well. But I think if they go predominantly black and then maybe just up to the top of the engine cover, they just drift into a little bit of silver. That might be a nice idea. Just quickly, obviously, just saying that Dan's just dropped in. How you doing, Dan? Hope you're feeling well. Great for you to support. And we've got our buddy Italy. Hope your mouth's doing okay, fella. I know you had some, as we talked about on the football show, you had some dental work on the way, so I hope you're feeling well. It looks like, sorry, I just saw that Dan is pinging in some comments there, but doesn't look like it. Something didn't work. Anyway, so we move on. So that's the launch dates. That's what we got to look forward to next week. Alpine, I should imagine, is going to be a very French affair. Probably, I wouldn't be at all surprised if they rolled out literally a tricolor car, red, white, blue, with its all French driver lineup, all French team. Why would they not push the full sort of red, white, and blue tricolor color? Maybe it's just me. I think they might. I don't think they'll go the full way, but I can't imagine there won't be a French theme to it.
I guess the only problem is are they still in their sponsorship deal with BWT? Because they're very predominantly pink. So because like you said, I completely agree. I think at this point they've got, French team, French drivers. I think, you just go for it.
Just
red, white, blue.
Lean into it, right? Go for it.
It will look nice. But if they still have a very pink sponsor, that kind of throws a spanner into it. I know they made it work last year, to be fair. Like I think their car was still pretty good.
The end plates and the little bits of pink that they put in it. It was, you can still definitely see the pink, but it wasn't like the previous iterations of the.
Hopefully it's not like going to be really in your face.
Pink.
Oh God, I miss the pink Force India Racing Point car. What an iconic livery that was! My God,
that was full on, wasn't it? So that's our launch day. That's what we got to look forward to next week. Hopefully, some more pretty cars turn up, as you say. Hopefully, they push the boundaries a little bit on the livery. Sometimes they go safe, but hopefully not. I mean, these next year's cars are going to be just an evolution of this year, so it's not like they don't know what the template and they don't know what shape and size they're going to be going for. So fingers crossed, they'll push it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some. Look, I just want good looking cars. Like I said, I don't mind if the liveries are simple, just as long as they all stand out and they're all good looking. I think that's all any of us want. Like, I think with the amount of, not to like heap pressure on people that have to design liveries and stuff, I'm sure it's a pretty stressful job, but the amount of money that's in F1, come on, these cars got to be looking, this is peak of motorsport. We want these cars looking,
you want them to look absolutely ideal, don't you? You want them to be spot on, and if and as you say, sometimes when they miss, it's quite an obvious miss as well. So it's something that you want to kind of get right. It's your only job. You design the car. It's not like you have to worry about the aerodynamics or how the thing works. You just have to worry about it looks good. So get it right.
Yeah, that car's going to be seen a lot. And there's a lot of sponsorship money going into these things. So I mean, this probably needs to be a quite good looking car, or you're gonna have some angry sponsors on your hands.
Some people on the phone
logo's not looking good on that vehicle.
Can't see my logo big enough. You need to be on the phone quickly. There's some big checkbooks that fly around there.
Oh yes,
indeed. So just to bring it a bit round, one of the aspects as we move into the season, as the season starts, we're going to be using Fantasy GP, the website, quite a lot. I mean, I don't know if you've got a team on there yet, Matty. Anyone who's watching, anyone who tunes in, Let's Talk Sport, I've already set up a league on here. Fortunately enough, the guys from Fantasy GP, when I pinged them on Twitter, they said they'd be more than happy to come on board and have a chat.
Yeah, I saw that. That was wicked.
I thought that was awesome. I can't wait to catch up with Adam and get him on board and see how he feels. Now, Fantasy Grand Prix is a fantastic. It's a free website. You can subscribe to it and go pro on there, and you get a few extra bonuses. But build your team. You get your own pit wall. You get to choose your drivers. I'll be running a Let's Talk Sport League. It'll be kind of like we did from the football one, where you do a bit of a prediction stuff. So we'll be managing your scores and stuff like that. But it's great because you have your current team and you can score for who you have in your team, and then you have your predictions, and it's your predictions where you win your big points and big bonuses. And there's always a fun little bonus question to take in board. So please go and check out. It's a totally random. It's always a totally random bonus question, mostly from the Fantasy GP guys. So please do go check them out. FantasyGP.com. Get your team set up, log in, register, build a team. Let me just say, the league that we've got fired up is obviously the Let's Talk Sport F1 League. And if you need to see it, take a screenshot, find the access code, or ping me on Twitter and I'll ping it to you. It's right there. You'll probably take the longest time it's going to take you is to come up with your team name. Quite frankly, it always takes me ages to come up.
That's really good.
I thought it was quite clever. I thought that was quite clever, that one.
That puts a lot of pressure on when I enter this league now. It's going to have
it does. It is going to have to be. Your team name has to be spot on, otherwise you don't get in the league, quite frankly.
No good team name, no entry. Sorry.
Exactly. It's as simple as that. So go check it out. It's a great website. It's great fun. We'll be running a league all the way through. We'll talk to Dan. Maybe we'll come up with a Let's Talk Sport little trophy at the end of it, just for giggles. If we get more people to join us, it'll be a good laugh. So I want to see you have a team in there by next time, Matty. And
don't
you,
worry, mate. I'll get it sorted. If you think you can beat us, which you probably can,
probably can. You probably can.
Yeah, I remember last season. I think me and my brother and his friend, we sat down, we did some F1 predictions, and I tell you, I looked like a genius 3 rounds in because I was like Charles Leclerc world champion. And then that went downhill pretty fast. So as long as this goes better than that, I think I'll be happy. So,
so sort of quite a low bar we're working.
Yeah, I think as long as it's not a complete trash fire, I'll be happy with that.
Absolutely. And as I said, so get involved. It could be a good laugh, and it just adds a little bit of something just to keep us occupied. Because if nothing's worth in long seasons, especially if we end up with a season where we end up predominantly, one team, one driver who ends up running away with it. You want to keep some sort of activity. You want to still
come on, F1. I know you're not really doing this for our purposes, but this show's going to get really boring if the same person's winning every week. So come on.
The weekly roundup when it's the same Red Bull car.
Yeah, we're going to have to be coming up with some creative segments if this season gets boring.
And that's not what you want. That's not what you want us to get creative. Because
you've seen the football shows. When this gets creative, this is.
It goes off.
Bad news. Bad news.
Danger. Do we want to, or do you want to fire up your Fantasy GP team, or do you want to start thinking of bold predictions, or do you want to see more cars before you make a prediction?
I think we'll see a couple more cars, and then I think we'll just start chucking stuff out. I think we'll go for it.
Yeah, because let's be honest. By the time we see most of these cars, we're then only 2 weeks away from pre-season testing.
Exactly.
It's just insane.
I think we need. we need to do predictions before pre-season testing because they need to be bold, they need to be stupid, and they need to be based on absolutely nothing. So I think
just
the
pretty pictures and
just
and
vibes. Yeah, cool. That car looks good. World champion. I was watching actually. I know WTF1 probably shouldn't promote another chat, but you know they're
why not? The good guys.
I was watching their or them like reacting to like people's bold predictions, and my favorite one, just because it was purely so absolutely bonkers, and this was before even liveries came out. This was wild. But someone predicted saying that Haas were going to be in the title fight this year, and I just thought I would love it, but
love it. I love those sort of
absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of prediction that only if there was a regulation change which literally tore the Rebel book up, and Haas, that's when you can kind of do that. Like maybe 2026. Who knows? Who knows what those regulations are going to look like, new engines and whatever else. Maybe Haas and whoever they get as their engine supplier. But when it's an evolution year and they've changed their drivers to completely sets the driver, it's bold. That is bold. I mean, that is bold.
I mean, look, K-Mag has stayed, and K-Mag was good. However, I would argue that for kind of parts of the season, Schumacher looked better than K-Mag, like especially towards.
He certainly looked quicker.
Definitely towards the end of the season. I also think
he smashed more cars up.
He did have a couple of high-profile crashes. Let's not go away from that. I also think, assuming that Haas are going to be in the title fight when they're bringing in. Now, look, I love the guy, but a 35/36-year-old Nico Hülkenberg who's been out of the sport for like 2-3 years, other than the occasional fill-in drive,
occasional COVID fill-in role.
And again, assuming they're going to be in a title fight when my man has never finished on a podium, is a brave prediction.
It certainly wins on the boldest prediction I've heard so far.
I rate it. I think whoever sent that in, you're probably not watching this, but if you are,
you should be.
If they finish in the top 5 constructors, I will buy you a pint. But
I'll go and find you. I can imagine there'll be a few people who would want to shake your hand and
I was going to say, I feel like everyone's just going to tell me, yeah, I was the guy.
It was me. It was like, I need to go back and check that.
This seems like a lot of points.
And check WTF1 now.
I think my pint money might be safe on that one. I think I'll be okay.
I think it should be. Yeah, we'll have a look at some more pretty cars for the next week, and then we'll put towards the end of next week, we'll throw some bold predictions of
I think we just go
drivers, championships, and stuff. Sounds great.
I think we'll do it. I'm excited. Like now that we've started seeing cars again, it starts
to get a little bit more tangible, isn't it? It's more tangible. It's like, oh, it's really coming. It really is coming.
It's coming. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to go on this journey with you, my friend.
It'll be a roller coaster.
It'll be good.
It'll be a roller coaster. It'll be fun. This has been Let's Talk F1. Let's talk forks.
So let's talk forks.
Let's talk forks.
Can that be like the April Fool's episode? Can we do Let's Talk Forks?
Just spend all day talking about times.
Yes, I love it.
We're going to do it, right? As I said, and as I tried to say, this has been Let's Talk Sports. Let's Talk F1. This has been Matty, and this has been Gary, and we'll see you next week.